There are other different types of dementia, and depending upon where the difficulties lie, that in the illness determines the course of treatment.
Yes, you can. All you have to do is want to do it.
Yes.
Want to be it.
Can you set your mind to it? And this is who you are, and
the grown men. We have the youth that we need to mentor, and we need to inspire, and we need to motivate. But I know, as a recent conversation between you and I, that you're also in the business of motivating grown men. Through that, I'm supposed to see God in it at every turn. So me going to the Sea of Galilee was to remind me of that, to refresh myself of that. It is all under control, that He does have it. It's just as clear as that fresh water that I saw.
You're Our Unity, hosted by LaShawn Walker, Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. PST.
Welcome everyone to Your Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time. We want to encourage you to listen. Listen when people are speaking to you, especially if they're sharing something from their heart and something that is on their mind. And most importantly, listen to your heart. Listen to
your spirit when it's telling you something, when you're feeling something that's just not right. It is in that listening that we have understanding. And I'm telling you guys, it is just worth a try. I am your host, LaShawn Walker. I'd like to welcome you in. Please like, share, and follow. Let everyone know that we're on right now. I hope you guys had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. It was beautiful weather outside. And as I asked you last week, please, I hope you had some memorable moments with your mother. And if you did, please share them in the chat. This weekend, well, rather the middle of last week, after I ended the show, I kind of made a mad dash for the South. And after I got my tire fixed, I hit the road and I went to visit my mom and my family. It was for Mother's Day, but also, as I mentioned, the memorial of my sister's passing. We wanted to celebrate her birthday, and we also wanted to celebrate Mother's Day. So I hit the ground running. I got up in the middle of the night and I rode I-95 in the deep darkness, and I loved it. I had time to think. I had time to reflect. I just had time to spend with my thoughts and with God. So it was very therapeutic for me. And then I got down there with my mom. And I love my mother, don't get me wrong, but you know, you're a child when you're with your mother, no matter how old you are. And so it was a bunch of questions about why this and why that, and how come you didn't do this, and how come you didn't do that. So I did. I was the child the middle of last week until this weekend. And it was a role that I'm not used to playing, really, because I have my daughter who I'm the mother to, and I'm asking her those very same questions. So for me to sit back and take on that role, it was a little hard, I must admit, but I did. And in that moment, I got to learn so much more about my mother. I finally got a chance to listen, what I encouraged you guys to do. We get to a certain age and we think that we know better and more than our parents. And sometimes we do, we get more education, things are technologically advanced and they're not too savvy. And, there's a lot of information out there that they don't want to find out about or research. And we see it every day because of the things that we have at our fingertips. So though I'm always telling my mother, oh, there's a better way, or, oh, you should listen and you should watch and you should just get more information, I still have to sit back and let her teach me those things, that wisdom that she has. And so this weekend, I allowed that to happen. I didn't challenge her on anything. I didn't have a rebuttal for anything. I sat back and I just listened. And it was hard, but I enjoyed doing it because it gave me a better understanding of a lot of things that I didn't know about her. her wants and her desires. So this weekend, though it was bittersweet, we're celebrating Mother's Day and the fact that I was with her on Mother's Day. That was me arriving with her new dog that literally stuck a tongue out on cue while I took the picture. And then I went, I got to tell you this story real quick. I went to Walmart to pick up a few items, and I had on Fabian Thorne's shirt, who is a guest, who has been a guest on the show. And this young man stopped me in the aisle. And at first I ignored him because, I'm thinking he's wasn't talking to me, but clearly he was. He asked me about the shirt. Come to find out, Fabian is his cousin. So he recognized the shirt, asked me where I got it, and celebrity sighting. It was amazing. So then, like I said, bittersweet event this whole time I was away. And I enjoyed, spending time with my mom and seeing my family. It was just sad that we had to do it for this occasion, unfortunately. So I was playing mother to my daughter before I left. And then my goddaughter, Raquel, who happens to live in North Carolina, actually met up with me as well when I was celebrating my sister's birthday on the 11th. And that day, we went to the beach to spread my sister's ashes. I had a grand plan to take her to Jamaica in September. And unfortunately, she passed away before I was able to take her. So there, my nephew, which is her son, decided, and my mom decided we were going to spread not only my sister's ashes, but my father's ashes together. And this moment right here is so emotional, but yet it is so beautiful at the same time, because we're setting them free, because I've held on to my father's ashes for like almost 20 years. And then my sister, who just passed away in September, we're kind of, setting them free into the beautiful ocean and just this sea to just be at one and peace with God. We set free balloons. Please go back to that picture, Bobby. We set free some balloons in honor of her birthday. We gave speeches. We sang happy birthday. It was beautiful. We released countless balloons. And then as the wind was taking them away, 2 balloons drifted off by themselves while the other balloons stayed together and flew away in unison in one direction. That right there to me was an amazing moment, because to us it signified that that was my sister and my father just at peace, just flying away. It was the most amazing moment. Everyone was in awe at that sight of these 2 balloons, and we literally released them all at the same time. And for 2 of them to drift away on their own was just a sign that they saw that source in that moment, and that they are at peace, and that they're happy that we celebrated them and honored them in that moment. So, as I said, the weekend was me being with my mother for countless hours of just me and her. And I, being the child, let my mother share with me some things that was on her heart. And I learned so much about this woman. I learned why she sacrificed so much. I learned that she had dreams and aspirations to do things other than be a wife and mother. It's just that when she was growing up, she was told once she becomes a mother, that's really her job. So her pursuit of whatever passion she had, she put on the back burner to raise my brother and I. She also conveyed to me that she worries a lot. Though we are grown, and though we all have our own families, responsibilities, and lives, she still worries a lot about whether we're okay and if we're living, happy and joyful and at peace. But yet I don't feel that she worries about those same things for herself. Those things we worry about, and she keeps, and I'm sure your parents as well, your mom, say that we're okay. No, sometimes they're not. They need to release some things. Like I let my mother release on me this past weekend. I loved that she, to me, set herself free. I loved that through me, I think she found her passion and her purpose, that she sees and so happy. She's so happy for me and what I'm pursuing, that she feels now that she has done a good thing in her life, that she did contribute to something greater than just being a mom and a wife. So I'm saying all of this because, I always have a message. I'm saying all of this just to listen. Speak to your parents, speak to your mom, ask her those serious questions about what her hopes and dreams were. Allow her to have a voice. Sometimes we just look at them as just that one thing, a mother, for when you need something, when you want something, when you want to cry, when you don't want to do anything, when you want to do anything, when you want to take control. No, sometimes you want to hear their feelings. You want to allow them to express their emotions. You want them to get out exactly what you want to get out of your heart or off your chest with others in your life and in your world, your friends, your family. Allow them the same. They're human just like we are, and they're also people, women, who sacrifice so much for our happiness. So let's give them something. Let's let them know that we're okay. And if we're not okay, let's talk that out with them and figure out how we can work on being okay together. That is my hope. That is my wish for you all. And that's what I think that I got out of this weekend with my mom. And it was good, actually. Now I understand why my daughter sometimes, wants me not to talk so much, but I get it. I get it now. Sometimes you just need to express what's on your heart without any judgment, without any rebuttals, without anything other than your ear to listen. So listen to understand. Allow them to have their voice. Today, that is the message. And it's also the conversation. We'll be talking to a young lady today who found her voice in her passion, which she found in writing, which she found in being a life coach, which she found in being all of the things that I don't know that she necessarily knew she was going to be when she was a child, but we're going to figure it out. So I'm going to talk to you today about a mother's voice. That is the title of the show. And we'll be discussing that with Nathalie, my beautiful friend, Nathalie Joseph-Cayemittes. And Nathalie is a speaker, author, wife, mother, prophetic intercessor, evangelist, teacher, and student. Her evangelistic gifting and passion to see people be set free and delivered in every area of their lives have empowered her to launch her coaching business, Life Coach for You. She brings all these things and more to the table when it comes to coaching. Her passion is to help her clients reach their goals and then exceed their own expectations. Nathalie assists her clients in skill building and goal setting in order to attain lasting fulfillment in every area of their life that needs attention: business, family, financial, personal, and more. A multi-dimensional vessel in the church and the marketplace, Nathalie is dedicated to encouraging others to embrace and walk into their full divine calling with purpose. Here to share her lovely voice with us is the beautiful Nathalie. How are you?
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor, a privilege, and I want to, of course, I thank God wherever I go for this opportunity, and my lovely husband who will be watching soon, my children, and everyone else. Thank you.
No, thank you. I really appreciate it. Again, so much to discuss. Author, speaker, child of God, found your voice, mother first and foremost, because this is LaShawn celebrating Your Unity's mothers episodes this whole entire month. I just want to speak about what we do, what we contribute, what we sacrifice. I don't feel I took my mother for granted, but I feel that I took the signs and wonders and wisdom of my mother sometimes for granted. And so in that, I'm trying to rectify that in the building that we're doing now. So I want to speak to you about that very thing, what it was like growing up, what your mom was like growing up. Tell us a little about your childhood.
Okay. I grew up in Haiti, Port-au-Prince, Haiti, with both parents. I was privileged. My mother, my mother was a character, awesome woman, powerful, straight to the point. All she has to do is give you a look. You already know where you belong, what you needed to do, but very loving. And I watch her sacrifice a lot to raise us. I have two siblings, and she stayed home to take care of us to her best ability and teach us everything that we know up to a certain point. And I have to say, I am privileged, and I also understand what you're going through, because I lost my mother at the age of 14.
Oh, wow. So
And I was
sorry.
already here in the United States. As a matter of fact, I didn't even get to say a proper goodbye
Bye.
or go to the funeral. And I
Wow.
remember for years I grieved. Like every Mother's Day, I would have this black clothing to represent that. And finally, when I had my son, I was set free.
Right.
And I knew my mother would want me to move on, and that her legacy continues with me, with my brothers. And the best thing I can do to honor her is to continue to live on, to keep going. So it's so interesting that we both share similar, and you had no idea this is how it was gonna turn out. And I just want to take this opportunity to share with everyone else who are grieving their mother, who have lost someone, even if it's a child grieving their mother or a mother grieving their child on this Mother's Day season. I understand it's hard. It will get better. You will never forget, but your loved one would want you to go on, to keep moving each day, keep taking steps forward, and keep their legacy alive. And a mother's job is one of the most fulfilling ministry, if we can call it that. We have an obligation, because our children not only are our future, it's our legacy.
Yes.
So it's a lot we vested. It's a lot. It's also an opportunity that we are chosen to carry children. And I'm also going to speak because there are people that they feel like it wasn't by choice. They were mothers with unfortunate circumstances. But I have to share with you, there's a scripture where God said he knows he knows the babies that were formed in the womb, even though you may not agree how it happened. But be encouraged that you're carrying a future king, you carrying queen within you, and then those children will turn around the way you have brought them up, the way you continue to encourage and build them, and then they will, they will bring out your youth. They will bring out your what's the word I'm looking for? Your joy will come out your children. Children are a blessing. The Bible talks about a lot that children, the fruit of our womb is blessed. Children is our blessing.
Yes,
and
they are.
It's even to the grandparents, as we're celebrating mothers, the grandmothers. It's a blessing to see your generation, second, third generation, if you're able to see that long. It's an honor, a privilege. And it is our duty, our responsibility to teach those children the right way, keep bringing them up. Remember, we are molding kings and queens, and speak to that side of them, no matter what's going on. Don't give up. No matter what you see, be that parent that continue to speak life, no matter what. You may be in a situation.
Their voice.
Yes, it might seem hopeless.
Yes.
You might have the other people criticizing you, making you feel, I don't deserve to be a mother. I wasn't good enough. Whatever the situation, just give yourself grace.
Yes.
Give yourself grace, because God has already given you grace.
Yes.
So accept that grace on today. You're doing the best you can, and you will get better. Keep trying, keep going, and never give up on your children, no matter what. This is something I truly, truly believe.
No, I see the passion you speak with, and you're absolutely right. We are their first mentor. We are their first teachers. We are their example. And so we have to pour into them those very things that are going to make them those kings and those queens that we know that they were born to be. And we have to also live that ourselves. We have to walk into that identity as well. And sometimes, again, we don't realize even our power. And I was saying this, we are teaching our kids to do and to have and to be everything that we weren't, but we're not giving ourselves the permission to do the same thing sometimes. And that, to me, is where I have a slight problem, that we're speaking such powerful words into our children. Let's speak those very same words into ourselves. They're coming from somewhere. We believe them from something. So we have to start also not only being the example by what we speak, but by what we do as well. So I love that you said all of that. it was great. And I'm glad that, even though your mom, wasn't here for a great deal of your life, that you turned out to be this amazing woman with the caring and the compassion and the nurturing that a woman would be able to instill in you, that you're now sharing with your child. So tell me about that. I mean, what was your dream growing up? What did you want to pursue? What were your hopes as a child to be as an adult?
As a child, I wanted to be a doctor, also a writer. And when I came here, I started writing in high school, but I didn't actually think it was going to happen. It was always in me. And it's so funny. I save all the book reports, I believe in keeping memories to pass on. And I discovered book report I would write about becoming a writer, what it would take. But I also stumbled in healthcare. Instead of pursuing doctor, I was doing the nursing. Registered nurse is what I started, but I embarked on this beautiful journey where I work with children with special needs. And I ended up working for 16 years. It's one of the most fulfilling. It wasn't just a job. You learn, you grow. But although I loved it, sometimes we can do multiple things. That doesn't mean, and also we have to be careful with people telling us, oh, you know what, you would be excellent as this. People tell us our own identity if you don't know who you are, and you tend to cling to that. I thought I was supposed to be a nurse because I'm told how good I am at taking care of others or whatever the needs may be, or some would say as a respiratory therapist and all that stuff. But part of me wanted and something else, but because I didn't see that Caribbean, this is the major career choice for us. It's between nurses, doctors, and lawyers. So I didn't see the life that I want. I knew I wanted something else, and I would hear, that little voice telling you, if you're right, this will happen for you. But I thought it was all my imagination and all that stuff, and it really came to pass for me. And 2020, that was the setback. I call it the reset for many of us, where we learn about ourselves, we learn about who we are, because we had time to think, we had time to reflect. We weren't so much on such a high pace. Everybody was forced to shut in. And I had, I will not say the greatest spiritual awakening, but to some degree, it was. Because I discover my identity, what I am called to do. And if we don't have identity, it's very hard to walk into our purpose, because again, everybody will keep imprinting their own identity on us, or their own limitation.
Or expectations.
Exactly. Oh, perfectly said. So that's when I started running. I published my first book, Living in the Favor of God, in 2021. And I just kept running. Thank you.
Oh my God. So I got to stop you for a moment, because I do agree with that. I feel God shut the world down for a reason. We all needed to sit down with ourselves and our thoughts. Don't go outside. Don't look at each other. Don't touch each other. Don't stay in the same room. There was a reason. You were supposed to identify who you were, who you are at the core. And then everything else will work itself out. So in those moments of you deciding that I needed to find my identity, because obviously you were living a very, very happy life. I mean, you had family, you have your husband, your children, you had a great job, something that you love to do. When was it, or was it a feeling of emptiness that you felt in the pandemic, that you said, oh no, I have to wake up and find my identity? Or was it the silence that made you feel that, okay, this is time for me to work on myself, there's more to be done?
You see, you hit you hit it in the core. Prior to the pandemic, although, and then this is just to let others know, when somebody's venting about how they feel, where they want to go, allow them to vent, and try to pull them, let them, express themselves. Because many times when you talk about you know, people see the family, the house, the
Yes.
job, and they say this is all we need in life. And there's so much more than that.
Yes.
Especially as women, we have dreams, we have inspiration, and other, you know, other things that we dreamt of since we were kids. We don't even know. And we are growing. We are constantly evolving as adults. So who you were before, you constantly evolving. What you think you liked before, later on you found out you don't care for it. You want more. And that was the stage. Although I had everything, but it seems like I had a void and I couldn't explain it. I couldn't express it, because when I speak about it, I was, you did good for yourself.
Yes.
You accomplished so
There are
much.
limitations on what,
Yes. And then if you dare to speak more, you kind of feel guilty
Yeah.
for wanting more.
Yeah.
So those feelings are the right feelings you need, telling you that you are created for more, because we are created for greatness.
Thank
So
you.
this thing didn't just start for the pandemic, but the pandemic give each one of us the courage that we need to go forward.
Yep.
It actually highlighted what's important, because we suddenly realize how short life is.
Yep.
And we don't want to go with regrets. So we're willing to cuff up our, you know, our fears, and then just keep moving forward no matter what.
Yep.
And that's what I did.
No, I love that. I love it, because I found that was a real defining moment for a lot of people. This world was running amok. It still is. But the fact is now that we find out what position we play in the chaos. What role are we playing? And in that, you also have to figure out, what is my purpose and what is my passion? And it can't be just to serve the same routine every single day. Go to work, come home, afford yourself a few luxuries, you go on vacation, you get yourself, you know, a nice car, whatever the case may be. But what is your reason? What is your purpose? Why did God put you here? And that is the journey that all of us need to go on, to discover that gift, because it's not just existing, it is living that we have to do. It's not just filling in the check marks off the list every single day of what we have to do. It's us living with passion and with unabated fear, just vigor for life. That is what we are supposed to be doing. So that's what it was. It was that void, that there was more. And she said something so important, because I felt this too. You feel guilty for wanting more, as if, you know, to someone else, you know, you're trying to be Miss High and Mighty or so different. Why are you aspiring for more? How did you get past that? I mean, now you know that you are destined to be this queen. You have gifts to share with the world. How did you get past those naysayers, or that feeling that, you know what, maybe this is a little crazy. Maybe, you know, I have it all and I should just sit back and be grateful for what I have, because there's so many people out there that don't. Tell me about that.
For me, well, first, God always placed people among our midst. We just need to identify them. And for me, it started with coaching and mentorship. I stumbled on my first coach, my business coach, Prophet Shaquana, and I had a session. And from there, that led to me meeting my pastor and mentor, Apostle Jean Marie Carroll. And one of her books is like Think Big and Do It. And she really keeps me grounded. And of course, I ended up being a life coach myself, but coaches need accountability as well. We all need accountability. We need, you know, vertical higher. We need peer level accountability, because that's the only way we're gonna keep going and break that fear. You know, okay, it can't be someone you're too comfortable with that you're gonna brush off. It has to be someone you value, you respect. And for me, my husband as well, because he spent it throughout our marriage saying, babe, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. And many years I didn't see I would dream, I would have vision of things, but really see myself doing it. It wasn't until I had to believe what God says, who he said I am, what he said I can do. And this is for every one of us. It's not that I'm any special than any one of you guys out here. You all have a purpose. You know, God has something he has said over you before the foundation of the world. You just got to tap into it and believe it.
Yes.
And the only way you could prove God's existence is when you put out what he put inside of you. That's what he's looking for. What is your talent? If you're going to be a doctor, be the best doctor. You're going to be a mechanic, be the best mechanic. You're going to be a writer, be the best at your, stay on your lane and just, as Sophia Ruffin would say, and kill it.
Yes.
Just be the best at what you do. And our children are watching.
Yes.
Our children, we don't have this generation do as I say. They are more like, I will do as I see you doing.
Exactly.
And that'll be
definitely
the first one
to point
you
it
out.
Thank you. No, long gone are the days is keep your mouth shut. You didn't see anything. You
that was my generation.
No,
so it's
bro, that's my generation as well. So now they want to know why. And they want to know why when you're doing it, when you said it. And we have to be held accountable for that. We really do. And I so agree with that statement. You are so right. Well, let me ask you this. I mean, in terms of you getting past that fear and you finally realizing that, you do have to pursue these gifts and you have to do it with vigor. The pandemic was also your time to have deeper moments with God as well, right? Tell us about that, your journey and sort of downloading him into your spirit every day, even deeper.
Wow. I'm still going through the journey, as a matter of fact. And I wish I could tell people it's something, I prayed for 5-6 hours and all those religious stuff. So please stop. We're not going to go there. People, be honest with yourself. It's a relationship. God is looking for a relationship with you. Sit and talk. You're washing the dishes. It's all good to have set time for prayers and all that stuff. We're not speaking against that. However, let's be realistic. You're washing the dishes. You could sing to him. You sing.
Yes.
You could talk to him. You talk. He's in every little details, even things that people would think is religious. God is there.
Yep.
God is an innovator. Everything that's created is from his idea to begin with. So don't limit him. Don't think you can only hear God when you are at church, at the pulpit. You could even be outside. God can use anyone, a music, a sound to speak to you. Just be open.
Yes.
That's what I learned. And it's been uncomfortable because my background is Pentecostal, traditional Pentecostal. And here I am in the apostolic where I had to learn, lose the control. It's not so much religion condemns.
Doctrine and tradition. It's not.
It condemns you.
It does.
It puts limitation on you.
It does.
And this is not what God, this is not the intention of God. He wants us to live free and abundance with life.
Yes.
We're not here to judge each other's. This is if we judge, he's gonna, we're gonna be judged too. We're here to forgive, love, accept each other, and then build each other up. Let God be God.
Yes.
Just let God be God.
Let God be God. I love that, because that's all he wants is a relationship. It's not about the rules and you doing this and make sure you do this 1,000,000 times before you go. It's not about the rituals. It is about the relation. He wants you to bring the words of the Bible, the Torah, all of these religious pages that we read. He wants you to bring it to life through living them. Is exactly what and every one that I've had the pleasure of reading speaks love and life and compassion into everyone. So that's what he wants you to do. And that's what she says is just let God be God. Just move and listen. Because let me tell you, that listening part is so true. He speaks to us in every little thing, even when you're washing the dishes, even when you're traveling. Because I mentioned last week, I was at an event. I had a tire problem. God had whispered into my ear for me to get my car checked out. But because I knew I had just gotten it checked out, there was no need for me to do it. Well, God had different plans for me because literally there in Connecticut, my tire had a huge gash in it. And I could have been on my way to Virginia to visit my mom when this thing just decides it wants to burst. And all I had to do, folks, was listen, because he gave me that feeling in my spirit. You're going away. Get this stuff checked out. So just take those moments. You can sing a rap song. You can watch TV for 30 minutes or an hour, your favorite shows. You can give a few minutes to God every single day. And I see that it has blessed you, my friend. You are on fire, not only for you know, just what you're doing now and the fact that you're discovering your identity and uncovering your gifts, but also I see the relationship with God is what's fueling that. And I feel that it's also, to me, giving you a voice. So your voice now you've received, it is through your writing. Tell me a little about what that did for you to receive your voice. How freeing was it, and what has it allowed you to do?
I loved it because when I write, I am free. I get to express, and I can hear, you know, the Holy Spirit just speak, and I write. And I believe in writing the vision down, putting it on paper. It's not enough to have it in our mind. It's still a dream if it's in your head. Put it on paper. My first book, I wrote one sentence. Actually, I got a word that I would be writing book in 2013.
Wow.
I wrote the first sentence in 2016 and saved it on a flash drive. And every time to pick it up, I would say I'm not good enough. How many of you guys do that? You're not good enough. Or I start looking at Amazon and say, look at this writer, how eloquent they write. I will never get there. No, don't do that, because God has a special audience just for you.
Yeah.
Whatever your craft is, whatever he put, whatever you have in you, only you can do it. No one else. It's only for you and only you. So don't forfeit that. So I started writing it. I picked it up, and all of a sudden the words start coming.
Wow.
Like I rather the pen and paper versus the typing. Something about the pen and paper, but of course technology, you have to use both and stuff. And that was the breaking ground for me, was that first book.
Wow.
Then I started experimenting with children's book, and and that all of a sudden you start being inspired.
Right.
Just different things, different ideas. And then don't shush your ideas.
Right.
You know, there used to be a time I used to cry, beg God to take away those desires from me because I didn't see how I was gonna do them. Now I repent. I had to say,
right.
God, I apologize.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, forgive me, because I didn't know any better.
Just like
Those ideas that seems crazy, write them down anyway. You know, we serve a big God. You know, we serve a big God. So he wants us to ask for the big, not the little cricket. Of course, depending on your mental state, if you're in need of food and shelter, of course, your prayer gonna surround that. But if you can pass that, act big, the thing that people will think you're crazy.
Yes.
This is the stuff you put in the atmosphere.
That's right.
This is what God wants to do.
Yes.
He wants to showcase that within you.
Yes.
You know, just think big and do it. I'm sorry.
Girl, you are having church up in here.
It's
You
just
better
sitting in my mind.
Oh my
Think big and do it.
gracious. You are on fire. But you are so right. You are absolutely right. You don't sit on your gifts and never think just so small. You're supposed to think abundantly above and beyond what you think is real. He is a miracle maker, and he's already created it in you. All you have to do is just go and find it. He's already equipped you. So I love that you say that with such passion. You really do. We're gonna have you come back just to preach, girl. I am so serious. But I see now that's her voice, folks. That is what we need to find, our voice, so that we can speak life into others, which you have done so eloquently. So now you're a life coach. You are authoring. Your first book, you said, what was the title of that you put on the flash drive? You put on the flash drive.
Walking in the favor of God, but it ended up switching to living in the favor of God.
I love that. And that was your first published book. Do you have it with you?
Right.
Living in the favor of God. Is it on Amazon? Can we go find it? So I want to know, what is it about? Tell us about living in the favor of God. For you bless the righteous, O Lord. You cover him with favor as with a shield. So tell us what this book is about.
Oh, this book is my baby. This book is a everyday journey that we don't realize, you know, God has covered us through so much. And sometimes we go through things, you know, with a cushion pad, things that should have killed us, took us out, or, you know, caused significant chaos. We're able to pass through that and not even recognize that it was all God. We think we just so mighty. You know, we are confident within ourselves because of our confidence in God, who he is, that lives within us. So this book it's a devotional, 21 days devotional, where I take you on a journey, and each chapters of some of the things I've overcome. And with that, I included prayer, different scripture to help you build your faith. And we overcame so much, even the little things that may not seem that is God, and God was in there as a little girl. Even through ministry, I started I started under Pentecostal. I love my church. It's a Haitian speaking church. So I will always, my heart will always be there because that's my native language.
Right.
But however, I had to pivot now in order to learn the apostolic.
Right.
So it's a bittersweet.
Right.
You don't completely say goodbye.
Right.
But you have to embrace the new in order to go forward.
Well, I think that's just like you said, you're constantly changing and evolving. You're growing in the Word of God. And that's it. You're learning from different perspectives and different religions on just how glorious and how amazing he is. I want to share with you, I just happened to open the book and I came upon this page, which is 99, and this sentence. God is constantly doing things to manifest his favor in our lives. Sometimes it is revealed in the things that seem the most insignificant. And you've been speaking to that. I just randomly chose that page, and she's so right. He is constantly showing us every single day that he's showing up for us, that he's there for us, that he's working with us and for us. Speak to me about what that sentence means and how you see that working in your life right now with what you've accomplished.
It's still working.
Okay.
It's still working. I start to look and the little thing, the little detail, even through my kids, my daughter, the things she will say to me, we back in the day, we had a culture where we dismissed the children. We didn't let them speak. I'm not talking about in term of, where kids now, disrespect their parents, not in that level, but I allow my children to voice their opinion. Well, first of all, my son gonna be 21, but in term of my youngest, who is 9, Nyla, we have conversation. She gets to express herself. She said, "Mommy, I think God is saying this. Mommy, God just told me this." I let her have it.
Yes.
I allow her to express and train her to hear God, because a lot of time we weren't taught to hear God for ourselves. We were taught only one person can hear God.
Yes.
And we all have this ability, especially now, the Bible says in the last day, I will pour out my spirit on all flesh.
Yes.
Your sons and daughters will prophesy and so on and so on. So I encourage that in my household, for my children to speak, for my children to express themselves. And I, now I don't let anything pass me. Before, we love to say coincidence. Can I tell you, there's no such thing as coincidence. There's no such thing as luck. Everything are predestined.
Yep.
So once you realize that, you learn to appreciate more.
Yes.
You now you live life with a sense of appreciation, a sense of gratitude of things, whether it's good or bad. I learned to try to have a flat line, not bipolar. Today I'm one person, tomorrow I'm changed, or on Sunday I'm this, and then throughout the week I curse you out.
Right.
I try to the best of my ability. Of course, we're gonna have little, the scale is not gonna be perfectly flat line, because we are human, and this is where I learned to give myself grace. I learned to forgive myself. I learned to say, you know what, there are things you missed. There are things you didn't handle right, but it's okay. Now you have the grace, the wisdom to move forward, to do better. We can only change our today for a better tomorrow. We can't go back on the past. Whatever didn't work out, we just have to say, I let go.
Yes, let it go, and just learn from the experience and use that to fuel, just a better and a more successful path. And I think that's what the lessons are for, and also the challenges. I say that all the time. The challenges to me make you stronger. It makes you wiser. It makes you more resilient as well, because you're not going to let anything continue to beat you down. If you can get through that and it was light, the next thing will be lighter. The next thing will be so insignificant that it won't even matter. So that's really, like what we need to always convey to our children. And I've been saying it, and I said it last week, please just don't sweat the small stuff. I like what she said, let God be God, because he's going to handle it all. So you said that you started delving into children's book.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about how Mama, I saw an ant come into play.
This book, I was doing dishes, and my daughter, actually the picture is Nyla, my daughter. She's my
Aw, she's
inspiration.
beautiful.
And she was literally crawling on the floor and like, Mommy, I just seen an ant. And we were like, you know what, Nyla? Maybe mommy can write a book about that. She's like, I think that's a great idea. And then I
Wow.
just started chatting things down, and here it is.
Let me tell you, you said earlier about you prefer to write rather than to type, and I get that. I feel like the typing it's not as fluid. It's not like it's just your words are singing on the paper. Exactly. Like I just want it to flow.
Mhm.
Like I'm literally putting together a symphony, you know? So I kind of get that. And in the way you said how this book came about, I get that. You saw her do something. This is an idea, and now it's just pouring out of you. So this children's book, Mama, I Saw an Ant. We can also get this on Amazon
It's
as
on
well.
Amazon.
I love it. I love it. Is your daughter at all interested in being a writer?
Actually, yes, she's working on a couple stuff now, and she also have her perfume out and lip gloss and all that stuff. She's an entrepreneur at heart, the stuff she says.
Yes,
so.
she is. The young lady actually was with us at our self-care summit the Hempstead Lions Club held last weekend, I believe. And this young lady was there, her and her beautiful daughter. You had a table full of goodies, my friend, as well as her beautiful book. So please, please check it out. Go to Amazon and pick up those books. And you will also do a lot of journals as well.
Yes.
Okay. So tell us a little about that and the significance of the journal and why you love creating those.
I started on the journal. I just wanted to see what else I can do, because you got to understand, all this started after 40 people. And I'm not ashamed to say it. And I'm like, can I really do this? Can I draw? Can I? And then I started and I realized, like, oh God, wow, thank you. I can really do this. And then this is how it kind of take off. And I always think, as a mother, what can you create that parents can use? I don't like having different notebooks for different things. It's too much for me to carry. So I always try to see, can I have something that's in one place? You go, you do everything within one journal versus carrying multiple books. So this is how my first journal came about. It's also available on Amazon. It's called It's a New Day, and there's a big clock to it. I don't have the journal here. And the clock is very significant, because one of the dreams I had throughout my awakening was about a clock. And I'm like, okay, God, I'm not missing any more time. And I feel like we always on a pace running.
Yes.
So to me, a clock means many things to many of us. Like, get it together, or not to condemn you or anything that way, but a reminder, we're going to get this done. So.
Or you're wasting too much of it, or you're not utilizing enough of it, or there's not enough of it. You're just not taking advantage of it. There's so many, because I'm telling you, our story is so similar. Just like with Kimberly, I feel like her life is my life. Like when I met this girl, I was like, I can't believe that you experienced the same. And I mean, from the beginning to even where we are right now. And what I love about the fact that you said you're obviously you're still growing and you're still learning, but you know now that you have this voice. How do we teach others, especially women who do feel that void, feel that empty, but everyone is telling them, you're doing well. Oh my God, girl, you have so much. You should be happy. Like, you've done it. You've made it. Like, tell us what you would share with someone else that obviously felt the same way that you did and had the same people in their ear right now.
I would first of all encourage them, let them know it's okay that they feeling this way. It doesn't mean that they so much miss it. It means that it needs to come out now. It's a stirring, a stirring on the inside to bring it out. And another part, as women, I find that many times you find women that would try to tear down. So the best I would do is encourage, and if I can be a door to somebody else, be that door. Because, that old mentality where we fight each other, we talk about each other. It's old, it's over. We are here to empower one another. We are called helpers. The Holy Spirit is also a helper. You know, we have a big job. We can do mighty things. If you look at Proverb 31 women, she wasn't just a wife. This lady had a business, rose early. She was in the marketplace. She was in the trading. We are called to all these things. You don't have to do all. If your passion is to do one thing, whatever it is that God gave you, be good at it. We're not saying you have to wear many hats, but we are saying that it's okay to wear many hats. You don't have to feel ashamed. You don't have to feel condemned. It's okay. If God calls you to wear many hats, just walk into it, accept it. Do one at a time. Start somewhere. I started with one book, this particular book, and then this book, Your Story God Pen, which is a quotation book, came out the first one. It just, every time I see something, it starts growing legs.
Wow.
So if you steward the little, whatever's in your hand, if you take care of it, it will grow. You will see it start branching out to different things. So just embrace whatever it is. You're a cook, be the best cook. You know, you could start providing meals. You could start whatever it is, and you don't always have to start at a restaurant. You could have Meals on Wheels. So many things, so many ideas. Start
somewhere. I tell people all the time, and I say to so many of my close friends, it's like you could pray to God for forever, and you will, and you're looking for this answer. He's already put his hand out to you. He's already done it for you. He's already prepared the path for you. He's waiting for you to move. Stop praying and looking for something to reveal itself in the way that you want it to be revealed, and see it for what exactly it is, and just believe it. Just believe on it and in it, and it will happen. But you have to move. And I love that you say that. Just do it. So let me ask you, because time is winding down, your voice for a child. You've already spoken how important it is for us to be an example for the children, how they are our future. Tell us now about children finding their voice, how important that is. You are a mother who found your voice. What are you teaching your children?
To find their own voice, to do what it is that's in their heart, to encourage. I'm always looking what it is that they're trying to do. My daughter right now wants to do t-shirt, and I'm like, okay, how can I make this happen? And my 18-year-old now, she published her first book in 2015. I didn't know God was setting me up for this. And how it came about, she's a wonderful writer. She came with things, and I'm not saying that because I'm a mother. I looked at it and I was like, okay, this is good. And we started doing whatever we needed to do to publish it. Back in 2015, she was in 5th grade, because I believe to, let her explore, let her have a voice, let her put out what's in her. And it's very important, because children are the future. We have to encourage them, build them. When they have a sense of purpose, it'll be very hard for them to fall into gang activities, fall into certain things. They only fall into things because they are looking, they are searching, they are thirsty for something. They're looking for that recognition, that pat on the back. And sometimes as parents, we tend to scold more than actually build up, encourage, tell them they did a good job, and things, different things. Don't push your children away. I'm telling you, yes, you correct your kids in love, but you don't push your kids away.
Yeah. You allow them to share their feelings. We have a lot of hurt people, and a lot of people in need of mental health services, and just healing from their core, because of the fact that they just were not heard, and because they weren't able to share, because they don't have a voice. And I think that it is so important that we give our children a voice, even if that voice is something that we don't necessarily want or able to accept. We have to allow them to share it. And it's only because it's healing. Just like we're speaking and we're sharing and we're giving advice and we're being life coaches and we're being mentors and we're being advisors and advocates, we're sharing, we're giving of our voice.
Mm.
Let's give our children that same right and that same opportunity, because I feel in doing that, we will have a lot more healthier children in our future.
Yes.
I really, truly, honestly believe that. No more are the days and you do as I say and not as I do. Kids see too much now.
Mhm.
There's too many ways to see things now, and we're not good at hiding a lot of stuff. So we have to do that. Please. So before you go, please tell us, what would you like to share with us? What is on your heart? What is on your mind? What words does the famous, beautiful Nathalie Joseph-Cayemittes have to say?
Listen, I just want to let everyone know God loves you. God loves you. It doesn't matter who failed you. If your parents weren't there for you, not because they hated you, maybe they didn't have the capacity to love you the way they were supposed to. And I'm also going to take this opportunity to say, seek mental health. You know, we don't talk about it. It's okay to get mental help. It doesn't mean you're crazy. We all need mental health.
Yes.
You know, I get regular checks in when I need it to make sure I'm mentally sound. I have my leaders for that. It's very important to be mentally free. And also forgiveness. Yes. Whatever happened, I know it was hard. I know it was bitter. Listen, if I would share stories, we would stay here all night. But guess what? I had to do this. I let go. I forgive, not because I'm a victim. I forgive because I'm free.
Yep.
I forgive so I can move forward.
Yes.
And let God be God. Let God deal with whatever. And, you know, you forgive also because they didn't know any better. It's not saying we're taking accountability from people, but listen, if God would hold on to everything we do, we would never be forgiven.
Yeah.
So just forgive, move on, get mental help, and just be the best you. Just do what God says, whatever it is that you have. Dream big. Do something you didn't do before.
Yes.
Just push the limit. There's always new levels. Just keep pushing. Whatever it is, keep pushing. Come up with new recipes for your cookies, for your baking. Come up with new ideas. Just keep pushing the limits.
And do it. Do it. And let God be God, but do it, like you said, with excellence. I love it. Thank you so much. We're going to put up your information where we can find you. You're at www.NathalieJoseph-Cayemittes.com. That is her website, Life Coach for You. And you can follow her also on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you. This was a wonderful conversation. You will be back because you have ministering to do here. Okay? All right. I just want to tell you, she's on the job loads. All right. I want to get real quick to the Dare to Be You. And it is: be bold enough to use your voice, brave enough to listen to your heart, and strong enough to live the life you've always imagined. And that's literally what Nathalie and I have been sharing with you today. Use your voice. Be strong enough to stand on what you believe in. Stand up for everything that's in your heart. And more importantly, be bold in it. She says, take action, move forward. If there's something in your heart, if there's a stirring of God inside of you, you need to move forward in that feeling. He has planted something inside of you that he needs you to share with the world. I've had those dreams. That is why Our Unity is here. She has had those dreams. This is why she is an amazing author and speaker. Those same things lie within you. We are not special. So go out there and pursue your dreams with passion. And also listen to those feelings and those stirrings of emotions from God. He's trying to whisper something into you that you are king and you are a queen and you are destined for greatness. I want to thank you guys so much for viewing another episode of Our Unity with my guest, Nathalie and I. We want you to have a wonderful week. Please remember that peace and love is in the palm. Did I do that right? Is in the palm of our hands. Please go out there and spread some love, give some love, and share some love. We will see you next week on Our Unity. Have a great night. Remember, I love you, and we'll see you soon. Say good night, Nathalie.
Strong Island Entertainment